Jehuti Hotep. I'm going to talk to you about mathematics, ancient Egyptian mathematics, fractions to be specific. In fact, I have a lot to say about ancient Egyptian fractions. The Rhind Mathematical Papyrus was probably a textbook on fractions, so we actually know a lot about how they did their fractions. But to start with, let's do the unit fraction and what that means. They didn't use numerators the way that we do. They had denominators, and then they had a string of unit fractions, these fractions, to show the value, which is a lot like our decimal system, with a little bit of our fractional system in the mix. So as we do decimals, 1/10, 1/100th, 1/1000th, they did something very similar, except for their denominators could be anything. They just didn't have numerators. So for instance, 3/4 would be written as 1/2 and 1/4. And they would actually write that as, this is a mouth with 2 lines for 2, and the mouth and 4 lines for 4. That's how they did their number system to start with. There was one fraction that did have a numerator, and that is 2/3. And 2/3 was shown as the same mouth with 1.5 lines, which I'm not great at, but there you have it. Which is kind of a funny thing, because 1 divided by 1.5 is 2/3. It's really neat. Also, this mouth symbol here produced the sound like an R in our language, and it is believed that they would just add the on the end of the number to show that it's a fraction, kind of like how we add the on the end to show that it's a fraction. So we say 4 and 4th. They would say jifda, jifdar. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that quite right, but you get the idea. And they would just put these fractions all together in a string. So for instance, I'm going to kind of combine the two techniques with 1/3, 1/4, 1/18, and 1/36. And as you can see, the fractions get smaller and smaller. The denominator gets bigger, but the quantity actually gets smaller. I would rather share a candy bar with 3 people than 36 people. So that's how they would write it, and each fraction would get more and more insignificant, smaller and smaller. And so a lot of times they would just truncate it and be like, close enough. But you could be as accurate as you want it to be. So you could continue and go to complete accuracy to the best of your ability. Or you can kind of be like, that's close enough. But interestingly, they did reduce their fractions because they were really good at getting very close to it. They wanted to make sure that the biggest fraction possible was in this string of fractions. So they would look at these ones and they would look for a way to reduce it. And I see that they all go into 36. And so as parts of 36, 3 would be 12 parts of 36. A 4th would be 9 parts of 36. An 18th would be 2 parts of 36. And the 36th would be a 1. And then I add all of those together and I get 24. So 24 parts of 36 would get you 2/3. So all of that would actually reduce down to our cute little 2/3. And that's how they would do it. They would break it into parts of another number. So they did know how to use numerators. It's just not what they tended to do other than in the reduction process. Kind of a lot like we have etiquette kind of things. They had etiquette kind of things. Specifically, they wouldn't repeat any fraction within that line. It was probably considered childish. Kind of like not reducing your fraction is considered kind of childish in our system. I feel like I've been talking a lot already, so I'm gonna break here and we'll do another video soon. Okay, have a great day. Bye.